Hello, everybody, and welcome back to ANIPOD Presents the In-Quy'zz-ition. I am your host, Dippy the DM, and these are my lovely players. Say hi, lovely players.
Hi, Burk.
Hello.
Hi,
Burk.
Hi.
Hi.
We're back. It's been just a little bit since we've streamed. We missed our window to actually do our schedule where we took a week off and then came back on. But we're back, and here today to bring you a nice simple episode. We are missing two of our players today. As you can see, Dono and Mirthy are not here to enjoy the festivities of today's episode, so we're going to keep it nice and light, nice and simple. And upon their return, we will be back into more hellish, heart-stopping action for you, but they're still in hell. These fellas aren't going anywhere right now. So, before we begin today, quick shout to our sponsors and partners. This show isn't sponsored. The Dapper D's is sponsored. Today, we have audio brought to you by tabletopaudio.com, your number one source for all things background and sound effect for your online and in-person games. You can go to their Patreon and unlock extended versions of their... You can go to Patreon and unlock extended versions of their background tracks and sound effects. You can make your own sound pads so that you can customize what sound effects you need in your sessions. You can get merch from them. You can automatically enable tabletop audio with your smart devices. And all you have to do if you use them in an online game is to give them a shout, and that's what we're doing here. Thank you, Tabletop Audio, for being the music to our ears. And, I don't think there's anything else this episode. Monday, our Dapper Ween did not get off to a very strong start. We did not do our first episode, but next episode, Apollo 47. I'm excited. I'm excited.
Guest, or is it just going to be me and Dono?
It's just going to be you and Dono. It's actually simpler with fewer players.
Okay.
Scarier too, I would imagine. You probably will, if I'm being honest. It's horror in space. Then Tuesday, Crossroads. Then, and then you can expect the next episode of the In-Quy'zz-ition on Friday the 25th.
Oh, I'll be at a wedding.
You'll be what?
I'll be at a wedding. Again.
No, you're not.
No, I'm not.
Okay, thank God. Oh, Jesus. All right, so...
I have one tiny announcement because I'm self-indulgent.
Yeah.
I'm 28 today. That's weird. That's fucking weird.
Dadley!
Woo!
It is Dadley's birthday episode. Say happy birthday to Dadley, everybody.
This is officially
Happy birthday.
older than I ever thought I would live.
Oh my God.
Oh.
Well, we're happy that you've stuck around this long. And
You're only 28?
I'm only 28. I know I seem older with the kids and the gray and the depression.
now that's what I call a quarter life crisis.
A quarter? I don't want to fucking live that long.
I do. All right. One way or another.
Your life is only 25. You're older than that.
Yeah.
That's 112. I'm good. All right. Back to hell we go.
There we go. So, yeah, that's too much even for what I want to portray here. Let's see. Let's do this. And then go back to the hell planet. River of Blood. I love it.
Love it, dog. Love the river of blood. Great aesthetic. Forms the room well.
lovely river of blood. It's great.
All right, so I believe we are set and ready to get into an episode today. So, for a D4 on your next check, would somebody like to give a summary of the last episode?
I got it. I can do this.
All right.
We made our way to some construction site where 2 ring wielders ring bearers were. And we needed one of the rings. So we got them in the same room. And we convinced one of them to kill the other one with just kind of being dicks. And then he got pulled by who runs hell?
This layer is run by Dissipator.
Dissipator. That's what it was. I was thinking Demore. Fucking.
Wow, very, very demure, very mindful.
So Avery, not Avery. That's the other game.
That's the other one.
I just looked for your name. The demon you know. The demon I know very well and personally wrote a letter to... Already forgot his name. I'm not doing a good recap. Wrote a letter to the demon that runs this layer of hell. It was just like, hey, that dude killed another dude. And he got pulled out of a portal. Some mildly attractive tiefling came and took his spot. And then we rode a rail cart all the way till somebody almost died off a cliff. And now we are trying to get an audience with the one who's running hell. Because the ring doesn't have the power it needs. It needs to be bestowed, not taken.
So, we pick back up at a secret hideout at the base of a spire off the coast of the main island that holds the City of Iron. Where you approach... I left it on a cliffhanger, and I forgot what cliffhanger I left it on. Hold on.
No, it was... They were hanging off a cliff. It was...
No, that's what it was. They were hanging off a cliff. No. No, I did not leave it on a cliff.
Somebody almost fell down the stairs whilst
yeah.
we were headed down.
Oh yeah, I was a dumbass being like, what, you don't want me to roll for it? And then I rolled really bad walking down the stairs.
Yeah, no, I did not leave the last episode on a cliffhanger. You're right. So you just... You were outside of the hideout, and that was where the episode ended. So, well done, Dudley. You get a D4 on your next roll. All right, so... Do I need to turn the music and sound effects down?
Just a smidge.
Yeah.
These are about down as low as they can be. Here we go. That's good.
Oh yeah, that right there is fine.
All right. I just had to get rid of the River of Blood, replace it with the Pool of Vicar. That's fine. Tabletop audio, everybody. All right, so...
A little bit of everything.
You're standing outside of this hideout, Mavron. You are well aware of the inhabitant of this hideout. In fact, you're aware enough that I'm willing to let you give its inhabitant its name. As you approach the door and you give it a little...
Ink, open the fuck up.
Ink?
Ink.
Open the little ice slit. A tiny blue salamander just sits there.
I forgot that's what he was named.
No, I'll work with this. The little ice slit opens up, and you know how normally when an ice slit opens up, you can kind of see like the outline of the sides of a person's head in an ice slit? That's not the case here. You get like two eyes and the bridge of a nose, and their head is so wide it takes up the rest of this ice slit. Just like looking through, just... What's your password?
Starts like grumble something deep and abyssal. I'm not gonna do that because I like my voice too much.
Come on in, my friend. And just... as the door kind of opens, and what was like a flush rock face kind of falls away to like a secret door. And you are greeted with the visage of a very, no better way to put it, a very chunky, kind of a lesser, a very chunky lesser devil. I'm struggling to come up with the type of devil that they are. I had one in mind. It's one of those ones that's like one of those gluttonous devils, you know. Oh man. Here we are. Nope, not enough. Dragons. I love rule books. Dinosaurs. Here we go.
Rawr. Devil dino.
Dinosaur.
It's a devil dino.
Devil dino. You see a very chunky kind of this is basically a lemur.
Okay.
And they're very like blob of flesh, you know, just kind of like sitting there gurgling and very pale, kind of whitish pinkish color. Their features kind of melt and ooze on their face as they like sit, and there are not too many other like facial features or bodily features that stand out on this guy, other than like a little fleshy arm that comes out and opens the door for you. Very liquid, hence ink. So, he kind of leaves the door open for you, and it's like, enter in. Yeah.
You okay, buddy? Like,
No, I'm fine.
oh,
Seriously, objects.
Mavron walks in like he owns the place.
Uh-huh.
Very comfortable here.
And yeah, indeed, it is very like, you think of like a secret hideout of a like someone who's wealthier than the common person, and like whose status is above a common person, especially in hell, and it is decked out as such. There's like a pool table and
It
I don't
looks
know
like
why.
a cigar lounge.
yeah, that's what
It
I was
looks like
going
a
for.
cigar
That's what
lounge.
I was going for. It looks like kind of like a cigar lounge, you know. There's some like shades and some nice fine like hellish art on the walls, and like and there's a pool table. And it's
guys, there's a pool table here.
would that even be a thing? I want to invent billiards in this world. All right. But
Is
no.
now.
Yeah, it is our thing now. There's like a bar area where you see what looks like that's a little too high of a challenge rating to be buddy with you guys.
Introduced.
We did already
That's
have
true.
we did already
so
have
water.
beer pong introduced. That is absolutely correct. That's not too high of a challenge rating to be mingling with you. You see what looks like a bone devil. Kind of behind the bar. They're unnatural, like, marrowy spines that, like, jut off of their form in, like, every which way are it always looks like they're in danger of knocking something off the shelf behind him, but it never does. He's very deft behind the counter as he just like turns to look and sees your party entering in. And you are familiar with this place? You know that as long as you're in here, you're safe. But you then see, like, that another tiefling is taking up another tiefling is taking up a space in this, taking up space in this space as they kind of, like, stand and turn to look at you. A tiefling you recognize as another camp driver. Brett! How you doing, Brett? It's good to see you. All right. Another camp driver, kind of just hanging out away from, like, a boss. A posture check, thank you. There we go. And a hydrate. Perfect.
Got tea.
There you go. So, as you enter in, you recognize this as one of your fellow camp drivers. His name is Neflech.
Neflech?
Nephlech. Neflech. And he just kind of looks at you and he's like, well, Mavron, wasn't expecting you to be coming around this way. It's nice to have the company. As he then, like, turns just a little, looking behind you. I'll be honest, I wasn't expecting this much company either. Are they with you?
Whenever you're summoned and need a place to stay, it's always good to travel well protected these days.
Gets a look on his face. Summoned? Like to the Iron Throne summoned?
No, summoned for a spring picnic.
Oh, my apologies. Of course. Jeez. Well, I mean, good fucking luck with that. But, hey, I'm not here. And he just, like, turns, goes back to one of the loungers, and, like, lays down, and picks up a little book, and continues to read it. You look at the cover of the book, and it looks like a leather-bound... It looks like a book where the outer cover is all one finely crafted and shaped piece of leather, and the front cover has had a face kind of molded into the leather. And the title above it... The title above it... In Infernal... Which, by the way, Abyssal, Infernal... Swap those. For your whatever language it is.
I know both, so it's great.
Oh, you do know both, right?
Yeah, I do know both.
Cover of the book reads Madjaw. Madjaw. A popular adventure series down here. So.
Mavron turns to the group once they're all inside. No one that you see here is actually here. And do not start anything unless you're able to finish it within the confines of these walls.
Sounds good.
Right. And Mavron walks over, and there's a bar, right?
Yeah, there is a bar.
Or someplace. Yeah, and starts making himself a drink.
You see, you see the Bone Devil behind the bar, and just as a reference, I will show stream/my players this image in the monster manual. This is your common Bone Devil. He is a big
skeleton.
Yeah, no. There are spines. Oh, those are wings too. Yeah, he has big insectoid wings. Looks like about 6 of them that kind of either curl up or sprout up and out of his back. And a long tail, a long, like, spiny tail that ends in a giant poison barb. A very menacing creature to just be mingling in a place like this. But hey, that's what having friends in low places gets you.
Hey. Yeah, Mavron just doesn't bat an eye at this guy and starts reaching for whatever brand of whiskey is back there.
You come across a 3/4 full bottle of Hjalmar's. Jalmar, Hjalmar's. And it is 3/4 full. It has a logo on the outside of like this big brutish, like kind of like a pit fiend, but also like the pit fiend has like a beard and like a Viking helmet. And
will do.
yeah, like
Mavron starts pouring himself a drink and then looks to everybody else and holds the bottle out, shakes it a little.
I'll take one.
Dadley, you're a
Starts
little
pouring a
quiet. If
second
you want
one.
to turn your mic up, you can.
Oh, I might have moved it a bit. How's that?
Yeah, that's much better.
That's better.
I'll take one. And I'm gonna take a spot next to you and start pulling out the guitar I've bought that I haven't got to play yet.
Mm-hmm. Okay, now, when you got it, there was a rune on it that allowed you to instantly be able to be proficient with it. But there was
Yes.
another rune on it.
That we
And
don't
it-
know what it was.
Right. Okay. Let's see.
You told me I wouldn't learn what it was until I played.
Yeah. Why don't you go ahead and roll 2 performance checks?
2 performance checks. And add my proficiency to
You
it?
can add proficiency to both of them, sure.
Okay. Alright, so that first one's a 25.
Mhm.
The second one is a natural 20.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Which, for a total of?
Oh, 22 plus it, 26. I literally
26.
rolled a 19 and a 20.
Wow, a 25 and a 26. So, Zog begins to, like, pluck away, like, a little tune that you kind of, like, remember from your adventures of, like, on the open water up above. And not only does it sound heavenly coming out of your fingers and into this guitar to you, it sounds incredible to everyone else around you. Whenever you make a performance check with the guitar, you make 2. The lower number is what everyone else hears.
Oh, so I got lucky.
Yeah, you got very lucky.
Okay, I'm gonna write that down.
That was very lucky. I was fully anticipating you to have like a, oh, I got a 23 and a 5. Like, the lower one is what everyone else hears. The higher one is what only you hear.
Yeah.
Regardless of which one is which. Like, if you roll 1 and you're like, okay, this is mine. No, the higher one is always yours.
Yeah.
That's the kind of minor. That's the kind of minor kind of not a curse, but it's the kind of minor tweak that comes with this guitar. Is that you will always, it'll almost always sound good to you, not necessarily to everyone else.
Yeah. And then there's the day I rolled 2 nat ones, and I'm like, I'm terrible.
Yeah.
What has been happening?
You rolled 2 nat ones. So not only does it sound bad to you, it sounds even worse to everyone else. That's crazy. Okay. Oh no. Okay, so anyway, this hideout is yours for the rest. Zog,
Yeah.
you take this shot of Halmars.
Yes. Tasty.
It starts really cold, like really super cold, and then it like after a minute it starts like warming up a little until it's like body temp, and you just get the aftertaste of like these like honey, like sweet honeyed notes and like a little bit of cinnamon, and then that cinnamon like kicks in. It's getting a little hotter. It's getting a little hotter. It's getting a little hotter, and it's just kind of like sitting. It's just kind of like sitting, and like it's your throat is like on fire. It's like it's like and at the very end of it, you need to make a con save.
Oh, geez.
Mavron, you do not need to make this con save because this is a very familiar brand to you.
That's a 6.
A little bit of fire comes out of your mouth, burns you a little bit. You take like 2 points fire damage.
Okay.
Just like
I'll just have beer.
as soon as the fire like erupts from your mouth, it's still burning a little, like but it's not like it like superheats in a person's system and then like
Ooh.
and the bone devil just like and like reaches behind and grabs like a bottle, in one swift motion, pops the cap, catches it in the same hand, and gives it over to you.
Thank you. Hopefully
It's
this
a-
will make me, yeah.
It's a Moonstone Stalactite IPA.
All right. You know, I saw a bunch of people with flannels. I figured I'd be getting some weird ass beer. No offense to you. No offense to you. I'm willing to try it.
It's like too many hops, not enough bubbles. Anyway,
Yep.
Everyone else, what would you like to do? Anything else that you would like to do?
I'm probably gonna find just a place to sit and start looking through that book that I got at the bookstore.
Okay,
The history of the Nine Hells, if I remember correctly.
fantastic.
Just start finally looking through that.
Let me very quickly go to very quickly pull this up. Okay. You start looking through your Nine Hells book.
Yep.
Are you looking now? I assume you're looking pretty specifically. I will have you roll an investigation check to look specifically at, I would assume, Dissipator.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mainly just reading through that. And we start off at a 2.
Fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
Despite being potentially infinite, the city of Dis always feels crowded and oppressive to anyone inside of it. And it's just like some of this is like melding together into like, you know, you're picking up some you're like looking at it, you're reading it, but you're not digesting it. You're still kind of you're still kind of jittering from the cliff, so you're not really digesting. You're still kind of jittering from the cliff. You're trying to calm down, and you're not digesting what you're reading. As it's like, as it's just kind of like shrouded in a dark haze.
Okay. Fair enough.
Mm-hmm. You do know that you do note that the Disputarian throne is in the large central iron spire that is simply called the Iron Tower. And it is said that the Iron Tower is tall enough to be visible in every part of this layer of in every part of Dis, because it rises above the thick smoky haze that like shrouds the ceiling, the quote-unquote ceiling of this layer.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha.
Nothing particularly helpful otherwise. So, not sure where Mavron went.
They had to step away for some.
Sure, no worries. So, as you guys are kind of in this hideout, if there's nothing else of grand importance to discover or discuss in this time here, then you guys can start to settle down into a pattern of resting for the evening or the night or whatever time works here.
Yeah. Zog's gonna look at Ink after finishing his beer and be like, sleeping quarters?
Mate, I'm not sure what to tell you. Just found a spot on the floor that looks comfortable. Hope you brought a sleeping bag.
I've been in worse. Alright.
You get the sense that aside from if you manage to catch like one of the pieces of furniture or, you know, there is the space does have some like I said, some like loungers and some chaises and some whatever have you. Neflek is currently taking up one of them, but there is enough like for a couple of you to get one maybe. Or like
Zog?
if you're used to sleeping in a chair, there's a nice like armchair open.
Zog will take the armchair. He'll do the dad sleep, just sitting upright.
There you go.
I'm gonna. Ooh, I have a lot of shit on my back.
Mm-hmm.
That stuff's staying on my back. I don't trust him.
Good choice. So, as the rest of you kind of fall asleep for the night,
Before I fall asleep, I'm gonna stare at my trident and make sure it's not asking me to revive anybody.
high or low?
I want low. I want low tonight, buddy.
And you get low. Your get low, get. Your trident is blissfully silent.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna go to bed.
So, as you all lay and shut your eyes for some rest, you as you all lay and shut your eyes for some rest, let's see here. they're not here right now.
Oh, I can't. I'm not
They're
allowed
still
to
not
swap
here.
out my spells in hell. Oh, my Warhammer's gone. Let's get rid of this one.
Okay. Okay. Zog.
Yeah.
As you settle in, you begin to feel yourself kind of floating. You hear the sounds of water coursing around you. Feel a sense of peace. And then...
I need to go.
Hmm?
Oh, I just zogged to himself. I need to go home.
And as you say that, you kind of feel yourself... You kind of feel yourself kind of like in control, you know? Like you're becoming a little more lucid.
Oh.
And then in this empty, wet space that you float in, you see a little crackle, like... as you watch an avatar of Umberly appear in the, not the astral plane. There's the astral plane and the plane of dreams. That's called something else. The ethereal plane. In the etherealness of your dream, you see Umberly create an avatar. And this time, as you are fully submerged, she ditches the human legs for the lower half of a long sea serpent. As she kind of like slinks through the water and approaches and says, I was beginning to wonder if you were going to fall asleep again.
It's hard to find places to do that down here.
Well, in the limited time that we have here, how are things down there?
Weird. Very weird. Everyone is so just angry about everything. And there's no water. There's nothing. I keep trying to pray to you and it feels like I'm going nowhere.
Well, let it be known that it is being heard.
That's good.
I just, unfortunately, do not have too much influence. For the reasons you've already mentioned.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, she, like, passes her hand through the water in front of you, and you watch as, like, the water almost, like, instantly evaporates in her hand. But you get that this is the sense of, like, an illusory water, you know?
Yeah.
It's ethereal. I don't have any influence here, either. More so, more enough to appear to you, but less to give power to you.
Yeah.
I can restore you here, and like puts out a hand and restores your spell slots, but does not give you the ability to change spells.
Yes. I greatly appreciate it.
And it
Trying to get
seems, well, it seems you got lucky. Your travel to hell has, how long have you already been down there? Do you know?
I think it's just been 3 days, 4 days, but it's they
Only
don't really
3.
They don't have like a sun down here for me to really be able to tell.
Wow. It's only been 1 on the surface.
Ooh, weird.
Well, that's good to know.
Yeah.
You're not losing time while you're down there, at least.
How are things up there?
Without you, very lonely.
I'm working that back.
People don't pray to and appreciate the sea as much as they used to, Zog. At least not on Quy'zz. I have some noble followers in Neon and Fairgon and... Oh... At least, as far as those realms are concerned, I'm fine. It's just this nut that's too tough to crack. People in Trashland don't appreciate water, apparently. Not as much as you do, at least.
Yeah, I miss it. I feel dry. I don't have salt in my mouth anymore. I'm sitting, like, all I could think about is, like, I want to build a boat. And
Over
then just
table
leave it.
what? Build a what?
I want to build a boat?
Build a boat? Okay, I thought that was what you said.
When I was just about to, when I'm pitching to Umberly, I want to build a boat, and then I'm just gonna leave it, and then somebody's gonna be like, free boat. Off they go.
It takes a dockyard the better part of a week to build an entire boat, and you're going to do one all by yourself?
I feel like between me and Sundial, we can get it done. Look, it's a quick pit. My brain's not at full capacity down here.
Understandable. I don't have too much more time, it seems. You're already rested. You're already tossing,
Yes.
getting ready to wake up there, or down there. Gods.
Yeah.
I haven't made any headway on trying to figure a way out for you. Well,
I found somebody that seems like they could help us.
well,
I don't know. I like them.
Be very careful trusting anybody in hell, Zog.
Yeah. No.
Very careful. But I trust your judgment.
All right. And even down here, I trust you got my back.
Well, my time is gone. I will patiently await your return again. And she, like, fades back into the inky blackness of the water surrounding you. And, like, a bubble pops. And as soon as that bubble pops, your eyes shut in the dream and open in the real world. Mavron.
Yes.
You kind of like jolt to like a seated position, and you're back in a place that you thought you had forced out of your memories. You feel your body weakened, as if you've been training. And it's been forever since you actually were training, and when you finished it. And the question just keeps, like, flitting across your mind. Why didn't it work? Why didn't it work? Why did it not fucking work? And when you, as you focus on this, you feel a hand grab you underneath your shoulder and pick you up to your feet. one of Dissipator's own stares you back in your face. The one who trained you to be a driver.
Hmm. In all of my time working with worms and young ones, training them to drive their own camp, to lead their own people, you have impressed me more so than most. But you lack the patience to become a ring bearer. In time, it will come, but you see yourself as not having enough. And that is a habit that many are troubled to break.
As he kind of like puts his hand on your head and just puts a thumb to your third eye, if you will, just right there in the middle of in the middle of the forehead. As you feel energy course through your head to your fingers to your toes, and he says,
"Open your eyes when 3 hours have passed."
And you feel in this dream state, the passage of time is molassously slow. But all of a sudden you feel this, like, you know, in dreams you feel like,
Yeah.
occasionally there will be like a camera cut to like a time lapse, and you feel this sense of roll a wisdom check in your dream.
It's a 17.
17. You open your eyes again, and this all too familiar face looks at you again. "2 and a half hours. Good, but not good enough." And he, like, crushes, like, the image of an hourglass in his hand and, like, postures and steps, like, right here. Right here.
Mm-hmm.
Dissipator smells fear, you know. And your fear will get the better of you one day.
And you feel yourself wake up. Like, out of dream state and into real world wake up again. Burk. It's dark. You feel your eyes open, but you feel that you can't move your head, at least not for now. And you look up at a blue sky. Kind of gather the strength to look around again, and you find yourself back in an empty field on the surface. Hold on. Damn it. No, this is too much open water. Hold on. There it is. Here we go. Back on the surface. Back in a place that's familiar to you. Was one of the few places that you kind of settled in between leaving Feywild and entering into the adventure you're in now. But you don't see anyone else. You don't see friends or family or otherwise. You're just kind of sitting at peace in this place. Until you do feel another presence next to you. One that you have only come to recognize again very recently. As the sky turns from blue to cloudy and gray, and next to you, a dark, ominous, smoky twilight aura with a glowing orange and red center sits next to you on the surface of the piece of furniture that you have found yourself upon. And he simply turns his head to you and says, "Am I what you expected me to be?"
Not really.
A deep sigh makes the color in his veins cool and glow less, like glow dimmer.
Not saying that in a bad way. Was expecting a reason to be upset at you leaving. More of a reason. But it's more than understandable. Why?
Well, I'm glad that even after all this time, you've made a promise at a chance. You didn't have to do that, but you did. And
Yeah.
I find myself appreciating that as the time passes. More and more. If I had any way, I would have come back. You know that, right?
I do.
Good.
Yeah.
And he, extends a hand, and just before it touches your shoulder, you feel yourself wake up. And we're gonna go ahead, take a quick 3-minute break. You guys don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with more In-Quy'zz-ition right after this. Stay tuned. What? And welcome back. So, we were exploring some dreamlands.
Yay.
And I've almost come up with one for Quinlan. I'm not sure. It's been so long since we've touched on Quinlan's story. Oh, there's Willow. With the puppy. With the puppy. Aww.
He is an oddity. I will give him that.
A space oddity? Ground control to
Major Tom. This musical interlude brought to you by David Bowie.
Speaking of which, I watched Labyrinth recently. My God, what a weird fucking movie.
Jim Henson fever dream, man.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They said, here's a budget, have fun.
Here's a budget.
Go nuts.
Am I late?
No, I came back a little early, but you know, we hadn't started
A
anything
wizard
up
is
again.
never late, nor is he early.
I'm not a
He arrives
wizard.
precisely when he needs to.
Arrives precisely when he needs to. Yeah, no. What I'm gonna go ahead and say is, the connection to the ethereal plane is stronger than it is to the Feywild, and Fey don't really dream. Like, they're not supposed to. They don't really. So, you kind of enter into your, like, trance-like slumber, even though that's an elf feature, not a genasi feature. Same thing with fairies. It's not a fairy feature, it's an elf feature. But you guys don't really feel a connection with anything outside of this plane.
Y'all are exempt.
Exempt from the nightmares of the... no, I'm kidding. So...
Yeah, because we live them.
Yeah, you're living one. You're living one right now. All right. So, the singular moment that awakens everyone in the party is a... had an Electrum piece for every time a cleric showed up late. I'd have 2 Electrum pieces, which isn't a lot, but it's weird that it's happened twice. The single moment that awakens all of you is the exit of the other tiefling that was inhabiting the space, Neflek. And all of you are kind of awoken by the noise and heat. You do gain your long rest, so you can accept the benefits of a long rest. Yes.
Yay.
So, you do also awaken to a courier, kind of like, you know how Skyrim's couriers always knew where you were, regardless of where you were?
Yep.
Mavron, you have a courier standing, like, next to you, and they don what appears to be a very ornate iron armor, twists and kinks in the metal, but still very finely crafted into one solid piece, holding a non-flash paper letter in their hand.
Maverick jumps a little at seeing him there. He goes, can't you all wear a bell or something to announce your presence?
People that elect to do that find themselves lacking privacy. That is not reserved for those a little bit closer to the Iron Throne. Anyway, here you go. And you kind of like unravel it, unfold it. It is, in the most demonic legalese possible, a summons to the Iron Throne in 2 days' time.
Okay.
Thanks for the clip, Brett. So, 2 days what I'm going to have you guys do here is count this as downtime because we're missing 2 of our players. So, you have 2 days in the Iron City where you have a safe space to come back to whenever you are not doing something in the Iron City. And if there is a downtime activity you would like to pursue, I will allow you to do it. Otherwise, you can explore the city. We can have some fun with that. And the rest of the episode is this, because we're missing 2 of our players. The episode will end on the day that your summons will bring you to the Iron Throne.
Is there a red light district? No, I'm kidding.
No, you joke. There absolutely is.
Oh, yeah, I would.
This is hell, baby. Half of it is a red light district.
That's what it's called. It's called Hell, baby.
This is hell,
Hell,
baby.
baby.
The most prominent brothel in town is called Hell, comma, baby.
Yeah, the comma's important.
Yeah. Just like fucking. That's there's Hell Baby, which is the nursery, and there's Hell, comma, baby, which is the brothel. You don't want to mix the 2 up, because you'll end up with a pact with a demon to raise a kid, in one case.
No, in both cases.
Actually, yeah, no, in both cases you probably would end up with a pact to raise a demon child. So, a devil child. So,
Ooh.
the day is yours. I will go through each character individually. Or if you want to do something as a group, I'll let you do it. Let's go backwards order of how I have you arranged on Zoom. Willow.
I don't know what she would do.
You have 2 days downtime in hell. Is there anything that you would want to do?
She doesn't like hell.
She doesn't like it. Okay,
She can't
fair
show
enough.
her wings.
That's fair enough. Excuse me.
But she'd probably just walk around.
Yeah.
See how it is down here.
You can tag along with any of the others if they have something they decide they want to do.
Okay.
All right. Continuing in backwards order. I just saw Burk's new Zoom name. It's Burk. You have 2 days downtime in hell. Trust me, I've come up with a lot of hell-coded shops and areas for you to go to. If you think of it, I can probably come up with it.
I mean,
Coded's
Or
my next punk
otherwise.
band name.
Huh?
Burk.
Hell Coded's my next punk band name.
Hell-coded. That's like an industrial metal band.
I don't really know.
One thing that you do, I will say, you can look in your History of the Nine Hells book again.
Mm-hmm.
And even without a check, you come across a chapter that lays out the numerous markets and bazaars that litter the Iron City because of how many people are brought here from professions of scams and cheats on the surface. Their souls, if they can make it down here, will. And there are many people, there are even many people who traverse the plains without, having their soul sent to hell. There are many people who traverse the plains just to sell their wares in the Iron City because of how many people come through here for its trade district. Because everyone knows that the best salesmen are also the worst kinds of people.
Yeah. I'd be interested to look around the shops if anybody else would be.
It specifically points out that there is a quadrant of the outer city. So if you were to traverse the main central island that the Iron City is on is huge, but you are aware, like, there are quadrants. Gratuity Mills was basically one of its own quadrants, you know. There's a lot of like industrial work that happens in the direction of Gratuity Mills. There is another quadrant that kind of steps into a outer part that is just one giant roving bazaar where people can set up whatever stand they want to try to sell whatever they want. And imagine like a Goodwill and a yard sale combined into one giant open market space. People just sell everything there. It's like eBay, but in real, but for real and worse.
That's what it is. It's on a bay of the Blood River. It's the E-Bay.
It's the E-Bay. The Electrum Bay.
Oh my gosh.
There you go.
There we go.
There you go.
We should write a book.
I'm pretty sure we are, Deadly. Well, you are.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'd be down to go to the shopping district with anybody else.
All right. Quinlan, 2 days downtime in hell. Anything specifically that you're thinking about?
Just mostly trying to keep to self. I'll go with Burk for shops.
Sure.
Try to get a better disguise going.
Good answer. Yeah.
And maybe see about upgrading weaponry.
Okay. Zog.
I specifically am looking for two things.
Okay.
Map store and armorer.
Okay. I've been meaning to ask this. What is with the cartography kick now that you're in hell? Why? This is such a strange arc. It came out of like nowhere.
This is Zog doesn't have his boat or water to hyper focus on.
It's just Zog's new hyper focus is mapping and cartography.
It's just distracting himself to how sad he truly is that he hasn't been swimming.
Oh no!
Oh no!
This is coping.
Oh, buddy, I'm so sorry.
Oh lordy!
Because it was the last thing he did. Last thing in his brain was like, I was just looking at map for ocean currents. So like, maps are helpful. I should be able to like do a map of this place. Like.
Oh, by the way, make a cartography tools check for the other. I'll say two. One for like kind of mapping out Gratuity Mills as you were in there, and one for like this big central basin of the Iron City.
All right, the first one is 9, 10, 13, so not
13.
that great.
The big central basin, you get a basic illustration of it, but you kind of leave it just as that, a very basic illustration, because you only pass through one area of this large basin, but you get a general good shape of it.
Yeah, and then the second one is a 21.
Gratuity Mills is mapped perfectly.
Yep. I have like a little like, that guy died.
Yeah, like a little X. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Probably agree on the armory.
So you guys are looking. So I have so far clothing, an armorer, and a cartographer. Okay. Interesting. Yes, I like it.
Are the armor and the weaponsmith the same?
Oh yeah, and a weaponsmith. Yeah. Weapons, armor, clothes, maps. And last but not least, Mavron. You feel a sense that the less time that you spend with this group of people, the less suspicious that you will be in like other hellish circles and like camp driver circles. You also could go back to your camp and check up on it in this time if you truly felt like you needed to. But you know, again, you're in that position of power where you don't have to, and another part of you is just so completely fascinated with how stupid these.
Yeah, it's Mavron has I really should go back and check on them kind of situation going.
No
but
offense to the rest of
also,
the players.
If I leave this group alone,
well, again, if they're going to the trade district, they don't stick out as much because the trade district, everybody,
has more
all
things,
walks
yeah.
of life show up in the trade district, extraplanar travel or otherwise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He sticks around, but kind of keeps a little bit distant while they go to he walks with them to the trade district, but he ends up moving to different vendors kind of away from them, looking for supplies for his camp.
Of course. Yeah, that would be simple enough. You can knock off a daily expense thing for that you get from your camp for all of those supplies. That would be something you can do just to make their shopping easier.
Yeah.
Your shopping is just simple enough that it's an expense report and you'll get it. Yeah. So let's go to the Electrum Bay.
Don't be suspicious.
Don't be suspicious. Don't be suspicious. Don't be suspicious. We gonna walk down to Electrum Avenue and buy some other shit now.
We'll take you lower.
And now you're going lower.
Oh God. Oh no.
Are we going down to Paradise City?
Where the rocks are red and the demons are pretty.
Hey, did you guys know that's not the original lyrics? It's my favorite fact of music. The original lyrics are "Take me down to the Paradise City where the grass is green and they got big titty."
Really? Oh, I thought you were talking about. I thought you were just speaking in reference to what I just said. Like, yeah, no, obviously, what I just said isn't the real lyrics.
No, that's the original lyrics.
Huh.
Where the grass is green and they got big titties. I love it.
Yep.
Shout out to all the big titty lovers. Comment down below if you're.
Not the people with them, just the people that like them.
Yeah, we need.
You know what group is real marginalized?
Oh God. Oh Jesus.
Yeah, I mean, especially the
I got so unhinged so fast. I'm so sorry.
ones that, you know. Hey,
Yes,
how's
it
a double
did.
zero supposed to lose weight?
It was like whiplash of just unhinged.
Comment down below.
Wow.
Comment down below.
Lordy.
Okay.
That's gonna be a clip. Oh my God.
Jesus. All right. So,
Okay.
in a day's worth of time, I'll say that it's going to take you the day to travel, shop, travel back. So we'll just focus on the shopping part. In fact,
We're doing Donna's favorite activity, and he's not here.
Right?
why don't I? Let's see. This is called the Madding Crowd. Crowded City. Yeah, this will be marketplace for sure. This is good vibes, yeah. So, when you reach... Honestly, the Electrum Bay is actually not a bad name for this place. I love this imagery. You reach another high cliff overlooking the scene.
Oh no.
Oh no!
R.I.P. that
far
book.
back away from it.
You reach it. No, it
I
just.
have the rock feathers. We're okay.
Yeah, you reach
Is
an
Burke
overlook.
now 6 feet from?
I'm 6 feet from the edge and I'm thinking. Oh no. All right. You reach an overlook. Down below, you see a bay of blood. There are several blood rivers that feed into this blood bay. Instead of water, it is a thick red soup with many docks that are perched along its shore for which gives you hope, Zog. There are docks along the shore
in these 2 days.
No, you'll get a fifth of it done, and then you have to go to court. No. Anyway, docks along the shore, large buildings just kind of jutting around what would be a wall, but instead of there being an actual literal wall, it's just like these demarcated by large watchtowers, and the bazaar has spilled outside of the boundary that's created by these watchtowers. And there are just stands and people fucking everywhere. No. There are just a lot of people everywhere. And so, as you find yourselves overlooking the Electrum Bay, you kind of scan the various vendors, because you can get a general sense of the largest vendors and if those largest vendors have what it is you're looking for. And there are... Bazaars are known for being very colorful and full of, like, life and like, variety. Like, the joie de vivre. This bazaar is very colorful. It's just not joyful. It is a market in hell. And as such, there are people, you can see people actively fighting over some of the merchandise from the bigger stalls, but at other times, it's just a large crowd kind of shifting and moving with the mass. You see the walkway down is empty, and at the bottom of this kind of like wide, safe walkway down the side of the cliff. At the bottom, you kind of see already a kind of a self-starter kind of has set up what looks like a threshold where there would be a gate, but it doesn't look like this gate is connected to a fence that would keep people out. And he approaches and he's just like, "It looks like you fellas are new to the area, and it looks like you could use a guide. If you pay me..."
No, thank you.
But I would...
Move along
And you just like
before I
walk
move
past?
your entrance.
You just like walk past?
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Yeah, you just walk past, yeah. But I was just...
I've spent enough time in New York City. I know a peddler.
Hey. Well spotted. So, as you make your way past, you see what appears to be, there are some, like, lack of a better way to put it, billboards that kind of stick up out of the ground in the middle of the bazaar, tall enough to be over the crowd, but not tall enough that they stuck out in the overlook. And you can see kind of like these large, there are some that are like rotating in place, and on all three sides of a triangular rotating are like the name of one of the larger vendors there for the day. Some are just simple wooden signs, just kind of like whoop, shot up, and hopefully someone sees it and comes to the shop. If you are looking for clothes, armor, weapons, maps. Clothes, armor, weapons, and maps. Let's do a D4 and see which one you come across first. Blah. Blah.
Bleh.
Blah. Clothes, armor, weapons. All right.
Ooh.
You see two advertised vendors that look very intriguing to you. One of them looks like surface dwarves, like surface level material plane dwarves have set up a shop of their finest materials and mined, like their finest materials have been crafted into even finer weapons of war, and they can be enchanted for a price. And you see another one being advertised from the Fields of Elysium, finest bows and arrows in the Outer Plains. Now, Elysium is known for having some of the mightiest heroes. And it's also known for being like a lawful good plane, which confuses you for a second as to why they would be in such a place. Business is business. And they will take it anywhere they can get.
Gotta do what you gotta do.
So you have dwarves or heroes of Elysium. Your choice. But you feel as if they advertise finest bows and arrows, but like they could be, the Elysium weapons can be, you know, sold that aren't just finest, you know, Stringfellows.
Yeah.
Gonna go for the bows and arrows first.
All right. You stop by and you see kind of set up in an open grated wall in a circle with a vendor's clerk's counter and just open display on the inside of this circle. On the floor is a rug that looks like grass. It looks like they just took a patch of grass and laid it on the ground. But then you step on it and it feels like the softest cotton and wool made to look like grass, and also like accented with these Elysian flowers and cloud puffs. And behind a counter. This is a good question. Who would be running an Elysian stand? That's not
Azamar.
Faye. Azamar! Oh my god!
human.
Fantastic!
Just some
And
guy named
Azamar,
Red that got
absolutely.
confused.
No. Azamar is
The Indeed
perfect.
application was confusing.
You see an Azamar, standing behind the clerk's counter, and like, they see non-demons walking into the vendor, and they're like, "Oh, thank the heavens! Oh, finally some honest business." And they kind of like take a couple steps down. Welcome, friends and heroes, to Fields of Elysium. We have some fine weaponry crafted for you here today. Please, take a look around, and if you see anything you like, don't be afraid to inquire to me.
Alright. I'm gonna look around for a new rope dart.
So,
See if there's one like that. Maybe one that could attach to the forearm.
what you can observe is that there isn't specifically a rope dart that attaches at the forearm, but the pieces do exist in the space. You see a bracer mounted You see a bracer-mounted knife. You see that the bows in this vendor are strung with Elysium string. You know, they at least advertise as such. And it looks like the Elysium string, Elysium strung is magical in some way. And you see these very fine, throwing knives, and throwing daggers, that in the fields of Elysium. I need to go into my DMG and look up Elysium again, just so I'm not fucking this up. Let's see. Villains. Go back a little bit. Here we go. Elysium. Creatures of unfettered kindness and compassion. A welcome refuge for planar travelers seeking a safe haven. So, here's a fun thing. As soon as you step into the circle, you feel this wash, over you. And just as a little bit of over-table detail, this feels like you have stepped into the effect of the spell, that Canna cast in Crossroads. I forgot what it's called. Safe.
I know what you mean.
Yeah.
Sanctuary?
Kind of sanctuary-esque.
No, what was cast on the hotel room?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I know what you're talking about.
That was 4th level. Private Sanctum. You feel the effects of the spell Private Sanctum wash over you as you enter into this place. And you feel an overwhelming sense of joy. Weird for this vendor to be here. Now realizing. But at the same time, business is business. Sometimes you throw a dart and it hits the wall, but there was a circle painted on the wall, so it counts. So you inquire with the Azamar.
Yes.
And you kind of describe what you're after, like a rope dart. It's just like
kind of fire it out, be able to still swing it and do the stop and attach and detach to kind of
interesting.
Just a thought of like a smaller one for
I like the sound of it. And stop me if I overstep here. It feels as if you would like something that, retracts back into its housing in this wrist mount or bracer that you fire it out of. It slots in discreet, comfortable, but at the same time can be used in such a fashion as you would desire it, yes?
Precisely.
I think I could cobble something together here. And he turns.
Why, thank you. I was
and he
going
turns
to,
and he
to
like
do that myself, but if you can do it, that would be absolutely
how about
amazing.
this? I can enchant together and cobble together, smith together rather, a dart on Elysium silk string that retracts and fires out of a bracer mount, and I can do all of that for you by the end of the day for 150 gold. That is, if you want it enchanted with a sense, with a few quality of life touches, for the retractability, of course, the returning aspect for a little bit of extra oomph for your fights. If you don't need as much oomph, it doesn't have to take as long.
Well,
What he's basically putting forward to you is if you want it to return automatically, if you want it to be a +2, that's what he is asking, is 150.
I do not have that much.
You don't have 150. What do you have?
Let's see.
Because I know that you're very money shy. You don't like to hold on to money. Or no,
He's
Allie's very money
not-
shy.
He's not really sure what to do with money as a monastic monk. So he just kind of has it. Let's see, there's 5 platinum, 84 gold,
It's 134 right there.
29 silver,
That's 2 more gold. 136.
and 57 copper.
That's 5 more silver, which is half a gold. Okay.
I'm gonna hand Quinlan.
It doesn't
over
have to pack
14
as
gold.
It doesn't have to pack as much punch. I can make it a little, still powerful, but a little less so, for, let's say, 110.
I'm gonna go ahead and hand
So he's-
over 14 gold to Quinlan.
So that's 150.
Okay.
You find yourself among joyous company of friends. We'll have it done for you by the end of the day.
Thank you, both of you. And you see Quinlan genuinely smiling throughout this, but there's a hint of deviousness, and both he has not shown before. So this might be a little weird for
You also feel yourself smiling a lot more easily because of the environment. In fact, all of you feel yourselves. Mavron, you're not necessarily with them for this, unless you want to be.
No, Mavron's kind of like standing off to the side, another vendor, like watching them.
Yeah. But all of you who enter into this space feel a genuine sense of, like, calm and joy in the midst of this terrible, awful place. You feel yourselves, like, smiling and happy. And then you take a step out of the vendor and the gravity hits you once again. And you feel your smiles turn like, yeah.
It's like, oh,
It smells like shit. No, it's what it smells like is
Alright.
it smells like blood because there's a hell of a lot of it, like a couple
Smells very
couple dozen feet that way.
It smells like
There.
pennies and rotten eggs.
Oh,
yeah, 'cause
sulfur.
Yeah.
sulfur.
yeah,
Oh yeah. Yeah.
That's pretty bad.
Fire,
Oh.
brimstone, fire, the works.
Okay,
So then
so
I just take one.
did anyone
out.
else? Did anyone else have a need for weaponry? Wanted to go to the dwarfs.
I don't think I'm ever buying a new weapon, if I'm being honest with myself.
You've got plenty.
Say,
All right,
I think now
so
I'm sticking with the vicious longsword.
moving on to. That's weapons again. That's weapons again. That's weapons again.
Apparently, we just need weapons.
It's Saturday. That's. Two.
Why
Okay.
does everyone sell knives?
Yeah. No,
my
there's like one of those
Well.
mall outlets that sells like the decorative fake knives for way too much money. And
Oh my god.
2, armor. Okay. Well, you see up against the mountainside a homegrown variety of armor. Straight from using iron straight from gratuity mills. A hellbound armorer simply calling themselves Pyres, Pyres, Pyre apostrophe S, Pyres. But you do also find two smaller stands. One from what appears to be Fey origin. It looks like they might have elven chain or elven material. And one guy that is just selling like pretty basic armor, but this looks like, oh god, this looks like a Caleb Goal from the elemental plane of Earth who put together like rock armor, like raw, like stone armor, because that's all I have to fucking work with. Like it.
I feel bad for that dude, but I want to go to like the elf shit.
Aha. All right. So you approach. Let's see here. And as you approach, again, each vendor has its own vibe. This one just straight up looks like it has a miniature portal open inside of it. And like things going in and out of it, but you like, it looks kind of like, you realize that one of the people in the vendor walks like through it, and it's illusory. It's like in a major image projected. But the vibe is immaculate. It's just the most like cottagecore, but also like elven foliage imagery of this vendor. It's just perfect. And behind the counter, you see a wood elf. And they kind of look over at you, approaching in, and they're like, well, it's certainly nice to see a couple more willing customers coming in here. It's a pleasure to see you entering in. My name is Leonore, and I'm here to provide you with the finest elven chain, elven materials. We've got some mithril. That we've kind of forged into a couple of pieces. Say again.
And we're in the Wandering Emporium, right? Like the marketplace?
Ooh. Yeah, I mean, basically, that's what this place is. I've called it something a little different. It's the little joke about eBay, Electrum Bay. But yeah, this is the Wandering Emporium. Yeah.
Okay.
Holy shit. We'll see. Let's see.
Scared.
Yeah, I'm with you there.
Oh no. We'll see. We'll see. Okay. So.
I like how everybody's faces are very concerned at the moment.
I like the way you think. So. And as she has offered, you see it's a smaller vendor, not a lot of room to like roam the space. It's just kind of like a flea market or a farmer's market. There's like a little square on the ground that each vendor kind of sorts themselves into. This one gets a little bigger on the inside when you step in, but not by much. Elven chain, mithril armor, anything of the Fey variety of armor that you're looking for.
Zog will take off his chest plate that he wears, and
You're naked. No.
I am naked. He wasn't wearing pants. It's just a chest plate.
No, but yeah, you take off your chest plate.
Yeah. And I look at him. I say, I am quite a fan of my chest plate, but it's been getting me in trouble. This thing is so loud while I'm walking around.
Looking for something a little quieter then? Well,
Yes.
lucky for you, we are always light on our feet. I can guarantee you that whatever armor we sell here is not going to be quite so loud as that rattly old plate that you've got on your chest.
Perfect.
And, again, mithril armor doesn't necessarily have, like, the disadvantage on stealth penalty removed. There are specific armor enhancements that remove that. Like, silent armor is an enhancement in and of its own. That can be applied to any elven... That can be applied to any piece of armor, elven or otherwise. But her guarantee... It seems like she's built in... like that enhancement to most of her pieces, which is going to make all of them slightly more expensive, but worthwhile nonetheless. So what armor do you currently wear?
I wear Armor of Gleaming. It's a half plate.
Half plate. There is a mithril half plate sitting on like a mannequin. Looks very realistic for some reason. Like almost too realistic, but it feels like it's made out of wood.
It doesn't move?
No, it doesn't move at all.
Oh, okay.
She just looks super realistic, and it feels like it's made out of wood. Very strange, but yeah, mithril half plate with silenced, with this silenced armor enhancement on it, and the price tag. It is a double-sided price tag. You can either pay 450 gold, or you flip it over, and it says 100 gold and a good story. And if you choose that option, I expect you to tell a story from your character's past.
I lift up the price tag that says a good story. And I'm like, I spent a lot of time on the seas. What I think of a good story normally ends with me fucking. Do you want something like that, or do I need to come up with something else?
She looks at you, and her eyes like, I never know how to describe this. Her eyes light up, like, it has been a good long while since somebody has shared a sexy story with me. Please.
Okay.
I would even knock off a little bit extra if that's where you're going with this.
I was gonna say, how much are you willing to knock off if you take the Armor of Gleaming off me as well? I got no reason for it. I don't need two.
Oh. And she kind of takes it from you. Armor of Gleaming.
It just doesn't get dirty.
It never gets dirty.
It
Right.
never gets dirty. Which actually, like, I've had to hide the entire time we're in hell. So, like, it's not even...
It's less helpful, yeah.
Yeah.
And she looks at us like, if this story ends like I hope it's gonna end, and you're giving me this Armor of Gleaming in a trade, let's go ahead, you give me 50, and that story, and this piece of armor. Because I would love to hear how this ends.
Is there anywhere to sit?
Yeah,
Like,
she
is there a
pulls up
bench or
she pulls up a bench, and she sits on one end, and it allows you to sit on the other. And as soon as you sit, you feel an energy course through you that compels you to tell the truth. You don't have to tell the truth, but it compels you as such.
Yeah.
If you lie at any point during this story, there will be consequences.
Okay. All right.
Story away, my story meister.
Zog sits down and he looks at if there's anyone else in the room. Kind of glances before looking at the wood elf. Yeah, I'm a ferryman. My whole job is I just ship people around in my boat. And there has been a few occasions that I have gotten stuck with a young of woman staring at me saying that they cannot pay. And I have never been the type of person to say, what I think other sleazy ferrymen would. Of, well, you can pay with my body. And then you hear music that is 2 drum beats and a cymbal. But the one time it was offered to me was by an Aarakocra. Now, I've never experienced anything besides, like, laying or standing. I was very curious how flying would feel. So the next thing I know, we're a good 30 feet up. I asked to be above the water in case my grip slips. She insisted I have to trust her, and I am over my boat. She said to enhance the experience, knowing I could ruin my legs and my boat. But in doing so, I was too nervous to make parts of my anatomy get involved. Which she also said was not an issue. Because she knew how to make things, what would you call it, enlarge and reduce, but she only used the first part of that spell. She said I had to be a willing creature for it, and trust me, I was goddamn willing. And as myself and the story finished up, I did lose my grip. And it was good that I was trusting her, because she had another spell on me, Featherfall. So I fell rather slowly, which just gave her more time to enjoy the tenseness of my panic. And, I still have her number saved somewhere in my panic for a rainy day. I know she can't pay me for a ride, and that's perfectly okay with me.
Eleanor is apple red and, like, sweating. And she kind of like, god damn it, bot, ban them. Ban them. All right, I got the bot banned. Perfect.
I'm telling you, we write ANIPOD smut, and it's gonna be a huge success.
You hear her mutter under her breath, oh, I've got to find myself an Aarakocra.
Definitely worth it.
The armor is yours, my
Does
friend.
Mavron notice this story going on?
Oh yeah, you hear it. The other hidden property of the bench is that everybody in, like, decent enough earshot hears it. So
there's a crowd of people outside the store being like, what the fuck?
There's everyone that is either standing in the vendor or immediately within earshot of the door of the vendor can hear it as if you were whispering it in their ear. But like you're wearing headphones. Like you know, like you're hearing it, like, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
And as the story finishes, she said, "The armor is yours, my friend. Oh my days. I need to start putting Smutty story as one of the price tags, and I should. This is, oh my god." Yeah.
Mavron leans against the door and gives a shit-eating grin and says, "Well, if you think that's fun, you should come see our camp on occasion."
Whoa.
I never thought I'd want to come back to hell. Okay.
Quinlan chimes in off of that, Mavron. If you think your camp is something you should see, an entire tower, an entire monastery of students on a Rumspringa send-off.
Am I the most innocent one here?
Burk is just looking at the armor. He's just like, oh my god.
Burk is wondering if he can go any redder than he already is.
Yeah.
I mean, judging by Mavron's tone, you can get a lot darker.
Oh, I mean, fuck, man. You go from fire hydrant to crimson to maroon. Like,
This poor woman has hot Burk man, hot Genasi man, hot Tiefling man, all standing in her fucking doorway, going, well, I mean, if you want a good time.
Jesus Christ. Hey, we're gonna go to another quick 30. We're gonna go to another quick 3-minute break. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Cool off.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back. So, we are continuing our journey through the Electrum Bay, or if you stick to the D&D 5e canon, or the Sword Coast canon, the Wandering Emporium. Yes, the Wandering Emporium. As you finish up this story,
A little 500 silver.
500 silver. You hand it to her, and she accepts. She hands you the armor. You can add, so you can add mithril half plate.
Yes.
And it is modified with the silenced armor.
Yeah.
So you don't get disadvantage on stealth checks.
Yeah, there we go. That's all.
And yeah, mithril is like you don't take critical hits. No, that's adamantine. Mithril.
That's adamantine.
What is mithril?
Mithril does not do disadvantage on stealth.
Oh, that's the only thing that mithril does.
Yeah.
Oh, well then
So you
never
can
mind.
have a full set of plate armor, mithril plate armor,
And it's
it will
silenced.
Not, and it's silenced. Yeah, yeah. And it makes it light.
Then instead of the silenced enhancement, make it a +1.
Ooh, cool.
Sorry, for some reason I've completely forgot that mithril is silent. I had mithril as no critical hits. That's adamantine.
Yes.
And that's also adamantine is not fey. Adamantine is
kind of more dwarven. It's
dwarven.
in the ground.
Dwarven, yeah. All right, so.
Before we leave the armorer,
Yes.
I'd like to question if they have anything like bracers that could help with defense a little bit.
Bracers of defense, I gotcha.
Yeah.
Well, I might be able to check my stock. Just 1 second. And, she turned Scottish now. Okay. And
I turned her Scottish.
you turned her.
Scottish.
Same.
She kind of like digs around. And like pulls out 2 bracers. Bracers of defense. Now, bracers of defense are a +2 when you are not wearing armor.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I feel like I can part with these if you either have 300 gold or 40 and a story that can fucking compare with that one.
I do not have a story that could compare to that. Have your 300 gold.
I'm so sorry, child. All right, well.
Gold is Burk walking around with.
Burk
I
has
was
gold.
for the guild. I was with Camden's Hall. Yeah.
I
hand
forget
over
Just
the-
300 straight up.
sometimes.
Yeah, just
All
300
right.
straight up. Yeah,
have- you-
I
you
got
can
a
add
story
bracers-
to compare to that.
You can add bracers. You can add bracers of defense to your inventory. Man, I wanted Burke to tell a story. Oh well, it's fine. Burke doesn't really.
He's just a baby.
That is true. So, with all of that said, anyone else, particularly after armor? All right, then you can exit through the gift shop. That's weapons
Dippy,
again.
do you see my chat?
Let me go ahead and roll for that. Let me see if he's around. Not right now. Maybe later. 4. What did I say? Clothing, armor, weapons, maps. Okay, Zog.
Oh,
as you're kind of wandering through the bazaar, you notice what appears to be a elemental plane of air themed shop with what appears to be a couple of air genasies inside. But these are very purely, like, these are more... Normally a genasi is like a 50-50 split. These air genasies are only humanoid in appearance, it feels like. Like, they are full, like, elemental spirits taken humanoid form. And they kind of, like... You notice that this vendor is, like, floating, like, 3 feet off the ground on, kind of like on a column of air and, like, a gust of ever-blowing wind. But it doesn't make a lot of noise as it blows. It just kind of floats. And as you approach, the shop is called Bird's Eye View. And as you approach, the two kind of Jin Genasi elemental fellows kind of look out of their door, see you approaching, and they're like, it looks like we have another cartographer on our hands. Well.
Rookie one.
Huh?
I said, I'm a rookie one, but I appreciate it.
Well, then, welcome to Bird's Eye View. We have everything that you could need in order to help you with making your maps. Please take a look around. And you basically can buy a set of cartographer's tools that if you were not already proficient, you gain proficiency, and if you are proficient, you gain expertise.
How much are those?
30 gold.
I'll take them.
All right.
And then I leave. That's all I need.
Nothing else? There you go.
I didn't. No, I want to. What I wanted to find was if there was a map of this blood river. Like, here is. Yeah. But I am gonna take those.
30 gold.
Yeah.
Indeed. And the other one kind of pipes in. In the limited times that we have been down here, we have been doing a bit of charting of the local area and could possibly provide you with a specific chart. You seek a chart of the Blood River. Well, I kind of like makes a gesture in the air and like apparates like an illusion of a map, and like, how do I say this? It apparates an illusion of like a general overarching map of the area. And then he kind of like moves this image around and focuses specifically on, you notice that now it's time to describe the entirety of the map.
Ooh, fun.
It goes on, the edges of the map are still this layer of hell. Like, this is, when it comes to the extra planar, most planes that are not the material plane are considered infinite, as was previously established in Burk's book. But what is centered in it is the Grand Basin for the main Iron City. And then you see the hole that the island kind of like exists in. And then you see the outer rings, the outskirts. And then you kind of see a dividing wall between, you notice kind of the area that Burk's dad was, the lumberyard, you see Gratuity Mills, you see the Electrum Bay where you are now. And what you notice is that there is a long there's a long circling river that basically surrounds all of the habitable area in this map, which looks like the main river. Also bears resemblance to a description of the river Styx.
That's what I was curious about.
But there are nope, that's land. There are inlet rivers that kind of, rivulets that kind of, like capillaries in an eyeball. And that's what this map kind of reminds you of, as a giant eyeball when you look at it. And there are these blood river veins, capillaries that kind of intrude into the land. And he kind of focuses in on the Electrum Bay where you are now, to the rivulet that closest accesses the river Styx to where you are. The bay itself, the Electrum Bay itself, does not connect to the river, to the primary river Styx. It is like its own separate body of water, blood. But coming from this bay is a long, winding blood rivulet that goes out to the outer river Styx. And you notice that there are several, like, kind of highway interchange-esque exits on the river Styx, because you know from a religion check that you made previously, I believe, and if you didn't, you can make one now and you can succeed.
Oh, okay. I'll definitely succeed it. Yeah, that's a fucking 22.
22. You know that the river Styx travels between multiple extraplanar afterlives, if you will. It can transport you to any of the outer afterlife planes. You know, it can take you to Elysium or to Mount Celestia or otherwise. And the 9 layers of hell is where the majority of the river lies, because that's the mythological origin point of it. But this river can also exit to other layers of hell, because there are 9 layers deep in this bitch and you're only on layer 2. And it kind of looks like you could specifically go to other planes on this one, or you could go to other layers on this branch. But as it concerns you, they offer you the big general map of the area, kind of like rolled up in a scroll case, for 10 gold, or a specified map of your choosing that's a little smaller in its own little smaller scroll case for 1 gold per square of the main map that you want.
I'll take the big map, and I'll take the cartographer's tools.
So 40 gold overall for the big main map and the tools.
I turned to the shop clerks. I'm like, I got a question for you, and I'm surprised I didn't ask this anywhere else. Do you guys sell on the material plane at all?
We conduct business everywhere. The Wandering Emporium and the Electrum Bay are 2 of our best outlets for our wares, as people will buy anything when they are desperate.
How do you get to the material plane?
He kind of leans over and whispers, and it sounds like a summer breeze.
Yeah.
Kind of leans back. We don't take stowaways, if that's your implication.
I'm more trying to figure it out for myself. I know you guys would get into deep shit being like, yeah, we'll bring you back too. Like, that's, no.
Leans over again. If you pick up an extraplanar seller's license.
How do you do that?
It's a lot of work for a consumer. But if you have wares to sell that you have already done in a past life. And the implication is, he thinks you're a denizen of hell in this context.
Am I standing nearby?
Yes.
Okay. So
They
I'm
haven't
just
taken
gonna-
you any notice because they've been interacting mainly with Zog, because he's been the person of interest for cartography itself, but, like, there are 2 more fucking air genasies down here, like, you know, like, that's fucking rare, I guess, like...
Yeah, I'm gonna make myself known to them.
Is
Gentlemen.
he trying to keep this from Mavron?
Quinlan definitely is. He don't trust you at all. He
Zog
trusts
is
you
not.
about as far as he can throw you, and, well, we've established he doesn't have a very high strength.
I'll help.
You trust
grab
him
his
more if
ankles,
you
I'll
help
grab
him
his
throw him?
arms.
There you go.
We can just throw him off that cliff you almost fell off of earlier.
In Zog's mind, like, we help you get the ring already. If we can go home without you, that's just like
Ow.
a win-win for you. You got what you needed and didn't have to do more work.
All of this to say, it's not super obvious, or it doesn't seem like it's super obvious that they're trying to hide something from you. At least not
just
yet.
being discreet.
Yeah.
Mavron's in the middle of negotiating with another vendor off to the side for supplies.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect
the way,
timing, then.
No, like, other negotiations have really happened in this. Like, there was a little with the weapon, there was a little with the story for the armor, there was a little, you know...
Zog does not want to haggle in hell. He is terrified.
Good choice. All right, so you make yourself known. The Air Genasi kind of go from focusing on Zog to focusing upwards, and they see another Air Genasi.
Gentlemen.
Pleasure to
And
make your
I
acquaintance.
Pick up the emblem of the Obsidian Order.
Interesting.
It would be very nice if we could get back to the material plane. There's work to do. We ended up, unfortunately, stranded. One-way portals.
I understand. Make a
As he
persuasion
just
check.
kind of- yeah, as he's talking, he's let out his wind to just kind of drive home that he is one of them.
Yeah, of course. Oh, you didn't have to do much to convince them.
No, I figured the roiling storm clouds moving across the blue skin would be enough.
Oh,
but
yeah.
You never know.
Be suspicious,
They could be
don't suspicious.
purists.
Don't be suspicious. Don't be suspicious.
Not persuasive at all. I mean, let me double check that. One on the die for a total of 2.
A natural one? A
Yeah,
natural one?
Yeah,
Wow.
it's not good.
Oh no.
He's just not good around his own kind.
The two of them look to you. It would not be within our best interest to cart stowaways, as I have already explained to your friend here.
No. You see, gentlemen, that's not what we're aiming for. I just want to know how to get, who to talk to get, pardon the unfortunate turn of phrase. We just want to get the hell out of here.
You hear a loud booming voice appear kind of from behind you.
One that you could talk to would be me.
As you turn, and you see a great big fuck-off white tiger in a tradesman's robe. He has he has kind of these old like black tiger's face marks, 4 fingers on each hand, and just by looking at him, his hands are a little off. Something about them. He has like these golden baubles and armor and like a sword tucked into a leather belt of his. As the 2 air genasi that were in the shop, they kind of like, Zog, push you out of the shop and shut the metaphorical door on you when your deal is done, as this guy appears. And
Quinlan's still in there?
I don't think he ever entered in, did he?
Oh, I thought Quinlan came into the shop to talk to the Genasi with me.
Oh, if he did, then he was kicked out too. He was pushed out. Yeah.
Yeah, we just got shoved out of there.
You all like stand in the thoroughfare across from this large white tiger individual.
Yeah, because the only reason he would have gone in there is seeing that there are other Genasi in hell.
Right, yeah.
That aren't fire.
Yeah. Yeah. And he kind of, this imposing figure kind of looks down on you.
You seem to be expressing a lot of interest in, how do you say, leaving our fine emporium here.
Not the Emporium. We'd wait until we're done.
Well, more so entering into another plane.
And yet it seems that you
haven't had a way of extracting yourselves otherwise. Which only begs the question, why would you want to leave?
And as he gestures his hand, make a perception check.
Oh, great. Not another not great stat. Be nice or I'm chucking you.
D&D Beyond is suiting me so well.
18.
18. You can't help but notice that when he gestures his hand, it looks like it's attached on his arm backwards.
I was getting that vibe.
Instead of being like this, his hand's like this.
Yeah.
Yes. We got a game plan already. Just figured I'd talk with those who have done it before.
Well,
Duolingo.
Yeah, I gotta do Duolingo after the stream. My apologies.
Are you offering?
Well, my friend, it depends. If you have something you are willing to sell, you can acquire your interplanar seller's license. And you can travel as you wish, hither and yon. In fact, I could provide it for you. Granted, if you do not have anything to sell, then you are merely a consumer, and mere consumers have no reason to leave. Which only begs why you would ask in the first place.
Do I need to have merchandise to sell on me at this time?
Let me put it in a way that you will understand. You are not getting out of here without either my or dispaters say so.
Yes, and I'm asking you if I need to have my merchandise with me now, or if I can set up trade relations with you and send for items.
Respectfully, my breezy friend, you do not look like the kind that would have merchandise to sell.
Mate, I'm the head of a monastery. I can get a hold of relics for you. There's a lot to sell. We're also top-notch artisans and craftsmen.
Make a persuasion check with disadvantage.
Fair enough.
Fair enough.
Because he is just trying to get us the hell out of here and push it down the road.
Mm-hmm.
Oh. Persuasion? 17.
At disadvantage?
Yeah.
Holy
It was
shit.
an 18 and a 16.
Oh my god.
I think my dice are making up for the one.
Mavron, you do notice this interaction happening, like, pretty soon after he makes his presence known to Quinlan. You notice this kind of happening from the vendor that you have finished making your own deal with.
Mavron starts making a beeline towards the party, and he's very obviously pushing any smaller imps or demons or other vendors out of his way.
Yeah, just...
Dad's upset.
Kicking an egg boy or two out of the way.
The Electrum...
No, Philip!
No,
Frank!
what's the fucking... There's the 2009 Punch-Out video game has Super Macho Man push the ref like out of the ring, and
Yes.
that's just what I envisioned, like the and it's just like up against a wall.
No,
Some,
watch out,
like-
Frank.
Some like goblin or imp is trying to go like, hey yo, I got some really good Rolexes over here. You want to see something? And Maverick's just like, woof.
Yeah, no. Anyway,
Angry Birds out.
so
Oh, no.
the tiger-like individual, he kind of launches into a thought process.
In my emporium, we are already considered company with some of the finest monasteries, some of the finest artisans of the religious craft for all of the gods and from all of the planes. That I would not have come across one such as yours is an anomaly, but an anomaly that I am willing to accept as true. Relics, on the other hand, those are something that we deal in by the load when we come across them. And having not come across even a mention of them, that is intriguing. Please do tell. And at this moment, Mavron, you would be approaching, and this individual kind of like turns and like sees you approaching. Well, I believe I have found your handler.
And kind of like looks over at you, Mavron, approaching. There is not a look of familiarity, but a look of like, you know, recognition.
Like, well, I was like, Mavron Station is on his fucking chest. So
Yeah, exactly, yeah. The look of recognition of, okay, this is the guy that has this riffraff under his, like, whatever.
Yeah. Mavron walks up, hand spread, a pleasant smile on his face, and goes, Mahdi, I did not know that you would be in the Emporium at this hour.
Well, you doubt me. I am always keeping a watch over my finest. And how are you doing today, Mavron?
He knew your name. For some reason. You don't know why, but you're looking past that now.
Yeah. Nods. Well, of training new recruits and bringing them to the Iron City since I have been summoned.
A summons? Oh. Say it isn't so. I hope you have not gotten yourself in trouble.
More like keeping trouble from brewing.
Has your number finally come up, Mavron?
Doesn't everyone's eventually?
Well, forgive me. I thought I was hearing plans of espionage amongst the rabble of my emporium. I thought I heard that someone was trying to leave. But they still haven't explored my finest. And, well, we all know that that takes a lifetime.
One that many are willing to pay through the nose to experience. But these, gesturing to the party, well, recruits that some knew in life and others now in death. However, it would be a waste to not potentially navigate certain connections that might still remain.
Looks back at you, Quinlan. Mahdi releases some of the tension in his arms, and instead of crossing them, puts them down at his sides. It sounds like we can come to an accord. But let it not be from my own mouth to interfere with a summons from the big man himself. So, I will posit to you this. If you have not left or egressed from our fine home by the time that Mavron's summons have finished, then you may come back to me, and I will see if we can work out a deal. Or a return of whoever needs to be returned. And in exchange, an interplanar cellar to be added to my emporium will be arranged. Do these terms sound fair to you?
We have an accord to possibly make an accord.
Very well, then. Please, continue to peruse.
You have a very fine place here.
Only the finest for the Wandering Emporium and the Electrum Bay.
Well, Cheers to that. And he takes a swig of his flask.
You can find me. You can find me in the tallest tower in the bay. Should it ever come to that. I will be expectant and waiting.
And he, like, clasps his hands together, and a loud, thunderous, like boom echoes from his form, and he disappears in a clasp of a door through the dimensions, a dimension door, and to another point somewhere in the Emporium.
Mavron rounds on the party. I cannot leave you alone for 5 minutes.
I was just trying to talk to some air genasi.
Yes, and you've unfortunately gotten the attention of
Mahadi, the master of the Wandering Emporium.
just... Let me put it to you simply this way. It is far better to make a deal with me or Despater than it is to make a deal with the Rakshasa.
I've heard people lose arms over that.
That's some of the least things that can happen to you.
And it'll cost you an arm and a leg. Ba-da-da-da-da.
Or two.
Or two.
Maybe a brother.
Oh, wow. Jesus.
An arm, a leg, a brother.
Oh my god. Anyway, I love that Rakshasas just keep appearing in campaigns on the channel. It's fun.
It's funny. I was just Googling what level of hell Rakshasas are from. And the top answer on Reddit was like, they're not. They're the cats of hell. They just find warm places and stay there.
Yep. And Mahadi is one of the biggest cats in hell. Master of the Wandering Emporium, Master Manipulator, Patron of Osmodius.
He is...
Cat is still cat.
He is
the Rakshasa.
Like,
there are Rakshasas, but he is the Rakshasa.
You've heard of Rakshasas. Mahadi is the Rakshasa of the Sword Coast. The singular, like, most powerful, most manipulative one.
Mm-hmm.
He's a very miraculous cat.
A bit of spiced wine and catnip, and he'll be putty in the hands.
You think. So, the last stop for you to make is obviously for clothing, and there are... Remember earlier
Mavron's
I said...
like glue to the party at this point.
Yeah, remember I said you've made your deals for your, like, supplies at this point. You feel like you can. And remember earlier I said that, like, this emporium is like a combination of fucking Goodwill and a garage sale. A majority of the, like, trashiest vendors in this place have clothes for sale. There are some people that have just, like, wandered up, and the non-interplanar sellers, a lot of what they have to sell are the clothes from their backs or the clothes of the backs of the people they have killed. It's not hard to find clothes. It's hard to find good ones. In terms of interplanar clothes, you don't want to do that because you're in hell. In terms of good stalls for hellish clothes, you do see one of the large rotating, like, triangular billboards advertises a place called Numerius. Numerius's Garments. No. Please. Numerius's garments. And Mavron, you know Numerius as a ring bearer, but he works with all of the material that has either passed through his cotton mills or all of the finest. Spare me this trial.
No.
You're standing. Sorry, tangent. You're standing in the Iron Throne Room. Despater looms over the court, and just fucking Quinlan stands there like, I would like to make an offer to keep the kitty, and Despater looks over at Mahadi, who has just appeared in the throne room at the mention of his name, and it's just
confused.
it's just like, oh dear Christ, what has happened? It's
just Mavron's in the corner. Give me frogs, flies, anything but them.
We are your trial, Mavron. We are your trial.
Flies!
You thought
Kill my
I wasn't a
firstborn!
chaotic being?
We were gonna be easy.
Quinn was
You thought that
It's
it
not
would be
chaotic.
easy?
The fact that they're worse than the 10 plagues of Egypt. What
I
a
love
joy.
I love that this has turned into Mavron is trying to get what he wants, but he realizes that this is his worst obstacle in all of the years that he's been trying. But this is also the closest he has ever gotten to
We are your final trial, Mavron.
I'm just now realizing how much us as a party is just always sunny in Philadelphia. The gang goes to the market in hell.
the only reason that Quinlan seems to be not chaotic crazy is because of the rest
Comparison?
of you.
Yeah.
Just comparison.
The gang kidnaps the master of the Wandering Emporium.
Let's go. Yes.
I'm
Yes.
so here for it.
I'm just all looking up and just meow.
There's two. Yeah, I was gonna say there's two sides of it. Our title is the gang gets a cat.
Gets a
Oh,
cat.
Before we leave, we're asking Despater for the kitty. Let's go.
Just chase
two
the
ways.
sexy little
Pet for the
catnip
boat.
toy. Kitty, kitty, kitty.
Oh my
New
god.
pet for the boat. Let's go.
You can't just leave him with the other ones like he's not a grown person.
Stay kitty.
We give him a
That
collar and a
he's not a
food bowl.
demon lord in his own
You
right.
probably collar.
Okay,
It's the chickens.
you find a way to put a collar on Mahadi, you get a free wish. I swear to God. you, I'm gonna
Step one,
regret
have him
saying
start
that.
Calling me daddy.
I'm gonna regret saying that.
I was gonna say I'll seduce him. Quinlan's not
Seducing the master of the Wandering Emporium, of course. Why not? That would be.
Just don't get
go
scratched
wrong?
by the pretty kitty.
What?
His claws are fatal. Yeah. All
Don't
right.
threaten me with a good time.
So
I'm a millennial. I beg for death.
I'm just sad.
So many clips that need to be grabbed after this.
I'm sad that Dono and Mirthy are not here for this. This is fucking gold.
No. The cat missed
Oh,
meeting the big cat.
Yeah.
yeah.
We're
Yeah.
gonna have to come back.
Oh, don't get it twisted. Mahadi is taller than fucking Ali is.
Oh, no doubt.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. All right.
I love how we said this session's gonna end on the second day, and we're like 2 hours into the first day.
Oh, trust me. No, you guys. No, this is like most of the way through the first day.
Okay.
Travel and wandering through the Emporium, like it's you're pretty close to the end of this day, and you guys didn't have any downtime other than this. So your second day will be a downtime day. Numerius's garments is basically he's a ring bearer who has like an infernal cotton processing, but like infernal, like he uses like reprocesses some steel wood to make some garments like recycled in that fashion. These are basically byproducts from previous denizens of hell and hellborn and devils and slaves and like but yeah, Numerius takes garments and raw material and repurposes it into discreet yet chic hellish clothing. And as you kind of wander in, this is one of the only like the hellish vendors, like pyres from earlier and now this place, are A, built into the side of the cliff, and B, permanent installments in the Electrum Bay. Like, these do not move. These do not change. Walking into Numerius's, you see vaulted ceilings and large, bright sconces lighting up a giant cavernous room filled with racks of clothes and, more specifically, hanging kind of like suspended in midair mannequins and other various like pieces to hang clothes upon. Now, to make this simple, I'm going to do this. You can find whatever outfit basically fits the aesthetic of your character and fits the aesthetic of hell. You can buy it here, and you have your outfit ready by the time that you leave, or by the time the next session comes around. And any style that you can think of, any garment that you can think of, Numerius has it. Numerius is unique in that he is very put together. He wears a fine suit. And it's again discreet, not like a big chunky beefy half devil like you've seen other ring bearers, but this guy is like the embodiment of the CEO of a fashion company. Think James Gunn,
Mark Cuban.
James Gunn, Mark Cuban, and Dolce & Gabbana all combined into one orange-skinned tiefling. And he, kind of a hair in a fine, kind of what's the word? Like a bouffant? A pompadour. A pompadour, and the horns kind of come straight out and up again, forming, almost touching together to form a diamond of horn on his head. But just barely, each point is still independent of each other. The horns are plated in gold, and he presents himself in this very posh, kind of luxurious manner as he greets you and says, "Well, it seems that you are the type to be looking better as you traverse your way. Please, have a look, and if you see something that you like, don't be afraid to ask. And your outfits can be picked out. I would ask that each of you pay 3 gold for your respective outfit. Regardless of style, regardless of, whatever it is. You're trying to look simple, discreet, but nice."
Yeah, I mean, I'm good with the flannel I have.
Allie kind of already has it figured out. And Sundial has his robe that has pretty much fit in already, you know, and he's also, people have already mistaken him for a soot puff, so like he's not in trouble of being like noticed as much as the rest of you are. So
Yeah. I mean, am I good with my flannel? I got flannel from the lumber yard. And originally they told me, yeah, I'll be fine.
you would be, you know, you still stick out a little. As
yeah, I have green skin.
as kind of like a well, regardless,
Okay.
this is more of like a rugged, working, rural uniform for being this close to the City of Iron.
Okay.
You're basically looking for like city street clothes, because you're not out working in a place or being tortured or you know, yeah, that's kind of what you're after.
I find a vest I can put over the flannel.
Hey, there you go. If it's as simple, that's, hey, simple as. Absolutely. And I'll leave the rest of that kind of up to your own ponderings, your own, like, design, if you will. As you leave Numerius's, you come to the end of the day, you realize that some people are packing up, other people are moving into the spots that have just been packed up. This place never sleeps. This Emporium is always active. There are always going to be people buying and selling from it. And you realize that just the amount of time you've spent has equated to basically a full day. Traveling back, you make it back to the hideout, you take another long rest. When you approach the hideout again, Ink is there, the Bone Devil is still there, but a new tiefling, not the one guy that I said, Neflek, is not there. Instead, there is a there is another tiefling who does not recognize you, Mavron. Doesn't know you by name, or rather, let me put it this way: he doesn't know you by name. He knows you by rank. Like, he knows that you're one of the drivers, and he just like doesn't want to bother you, doesn't get in your way. Also, doesn't acknowledge the newly clothed party. They look more normal. They look more fit in. They look more ingrained into the city with their new duds.
Okay.
And as you traverse back through the city, you notice that less questions are being asked of you and the people that are following you after they get equipped in new duds, which is helpful. Coming to the end of the day, you get another long rest, and even after that point, the second day goes by with free of issue, free of want, free of activity. Unless there was something anyone had like a downtime activity in mind, you can take time to like learn a skill, learn a language, make a check, like try to
I'm gonna try to make a copy of the map that I got.
Absolutely, that would absolutely be a downtime thing. I will ask that you make a check with your new tools.
I, to make my life easier, just made a cartography skill on my on my sheets.
There you go.
Nice.
17.
17. You, over the course of the day, you managed to match copy from what you had already made, and transliterating from the larger map that you bought, everywhere that you've been so far, plus potential routes to travel down using the rest of the day. 17 is good enough that it's not a carbon copy, but it is a good copy.
Yeah, it's a good. There's a bunch of typos.
Yeah.
These words are hard for him to spell.
Like, what?
Missing a Z in there somewhere.
And a Q and a...
That, and then this will probably be a next session thing, but at some point Zog's gonna be like, I want to make a game plan with Maverick before just walking into the chamber and being like,
That would be a
"Aha,
next
we're
day.
here now."
That would be a
Yeah.
next day thing. That would be a next session thing. Absolutely.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
we will go ahead and end that session here. So, ladies and gentlemen, others, thank you so much for watching today's episode. Please go check out the YouTube to see the full VOD at your convenience, and check out all the other VODs of all of our other shows. Once again, thank you to my players for playing. It is always such a pleasure to have you around here. And tune in next time on the 25th, when hopefully, if all of us are here, we got an Iron Throne to have a meeting in. So thank you all so much.
Get ready for a lawyer's one shot.
Exactly.
Any kitty to adopt.
So
Kitty, kitty.
thank you all so much for watching. It has been an absolute pleasure being your DM for the day. As always, until next time, your adventure matters, and roll for your initiative. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Stay dapper.